Lance Hughes for the Guillotine here. We're in Fargo for USA Wrestling Junior and Cadet National Championships. I'm here with Tom Kuisle from Kellogg, Minnesota. Tom is the Director of Officials for Min USA Wrestling. And we're just going to talk to Tom a little bit about the officiating at the national tournament here and how he's involved. First of all, thanks Tom. Appreciate you joining us here, giving us a little bit of insight. Why don't you tell us how you got involved as a volunteer official?
Well, years and years ago, I was working with a club in Tracy, Minnesota, and back then every club had to have an official for every 15 wrestlers that they had in their organization. And I was coaching some kids and going to tournaments, and we needed an official, so I just jumped in the officiating. It's been many, many years ago, but I jumped into officiating and found out that I had a little bit of a knack for it, and I enjoyed doing it. So, and rather than sit on my butt in a tournament when the kids aren't wrestling, I was officiating.
Great. So now all the officials that you have throughout the state tournaments and all the tournaments, and as well as here, are they all volunteer officials?
Yeah. Everybody here is a volunteer official. Like, I'm an assigned official here, which means that I have certain administrative responsibility. I'm in charge of the cadet tournament, so I get reimbursed a little bit for the travel. And at national tournaments now, they're giving, you know, the officials a little bit of travel money, and they house them and feed them and stuff like here. But they're all volunteers. They're all giving up vacation time. They're all taking time off of work to be at these tournaments. So yeah, they're all volunteers.
All right, so say I'm one of those guys at a wrestling tournament. I've got my butt in the seats. I want to be an official. How do I get involved?
Well, you know, there's a couple things you can do. One is find an official that you know that's been around a while, and I always tell people to mentor them, get a little bit of mentoring from those people and making sure that you do enjoy it, and then just join the organization. You know, it's a $25–30 fee to get your membership, and that provides you with some insurance and stuff like that, which I always recommend, because nowadays having a little insurance and a little national organization behind you if something happens is always a good idea. But mostly it's just getting involved, getting on the mat, and you know, contact me or contact somebody that you know that's an official, and get some help in getting involved. There's always ways to get involved with the sport of wrestling.
Okay, so we're going to talk, most people in Minnesota, I'm sure, probably the majority follow their high school team, know a little bit more about folk style. How about we share a little bit of the similarities between Greco, freestyle, and folk style, as well as the differences?
Well, you know, one of the things I always get is freestyle and Greco, they modify and change the rules just to make it more exciting and keep it a little bit more dynamic, and they say, well, they're changing the rules. Well, if you think about it, in wrestling, a takedown is a takedown no matter what sport you're wrestling. You put a guy on his back and pin him. In Greco, in freestyle, and in collegiate folk style wrestling, it's all the same. How you score points is slightly different, but you know, the freestyle and Greco have some differences in the fact that you can't attack the legs in Greco. So it's more a little bit of a judo type atmosphere where there's more throws and more activity in the upper body. But freestyle and folk style are fairly similar, but there's more ways of scoring in freestyle, and just the name freestyle means that you can invent ways to score. It's a little bit more fast-paced than folk style, although we all know that we've seen some fantastic folk style matches that are very quick-paced and high activity. But you know, the difference is that the scoring just happens differently, and the other thing is that I always tell people is the fact that if you practice certain aspects of Greco, it's going to make you better in the other two sports. If you practice certain aspects of freestyle, it's going to make you better in Greco and better in folk style. Mostly it gives you more mat time to practice all kinds of technique.
Okay, so I'm a high school kid. I've wrestled 8th and 9th grade, never been involved with freestyle. Why should I, and what can I learn, or how can my folk style get better by wrestling Greco and freestyle?
Well, again, I'll go back to the fact that it gives you the opportunity to be on the mat and have competition rather than the 3 or 4 months of the folk style season. You can have competition throughout the year. And most high schools athletics are just state oriented. So the culmination of a high school season is at the state tournament. In the freestyle Greco, there's multiple regional national tournaments and multiple national tournaments around the country that you can go and compete at, and compete against kids from other states rather than just kids from your own state. So again, it's just the idea that you get more mat time, more and different competitors.
And you definitely see it here where you can wrestle the best from every state.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's plenty of state champions sitting out there right now beating each other up because they've come to the national tournament.
Yeah. As we are recording this, there are a lot of state champions taking a loss out there that maybe haven't lost for an awful long time.
Yeah, there's some state champions out there that I've watched get tech-falled.
Right? All right, Tom, just to close her up here, let's finish up by help me make a little bit of sense for everybody about the organizational structure of Greco and Freestyle. What is the role of the United World Wrestling, and how does USA Wrestling operate within the United World Wrestling?
Well, it's kind of an umbrella system. United World Wrestling is the organization that manages the countries of the world, and every country's organization has representation on the United World Wrestling. USA Wrestling is the organization that manages the states within the United States. And certain countries have different kinds of organizations at that level, but the United States has United States Wrestling Wrestling Association, and then those boil down to the states. The states have jurisdiction or an umbrella over the little local clubs. So, you know, it's just a layer system of stuff that brings the whole wrestling world together under one larger umbrella.
Very good. Hey, Tom, I appreciate the time. I know you're busy upstairs. Let's go back up there. This is Tom Kuisle from Kellogg, Minnesota. He's the head official of Min USA Wrestling. Tom, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.